Welcome to the Hooch, where the only place more messed up than your hosts is the barracks on a Friday night or the VA. So get ready to stand by for your weekly dose of toilet humor and shenanigans from your fellow veterans, Coy Mack and Michael Grizzled Grunt Harris.
Yeah, they told me that. I was like, so where does it go? They was like, out your anus. I was like, what?
Right out your
like,
ass.
yeah, you just your body absorbs it. It goes to your anus in your bloodstream, and you pretty much get rid of them.
All right, well.
I knew you were all those shitheads. I knew it.
Well, we're already recording, so hey, welcome back to the Hooch, everybody. And Michael's vasectomy rant. If you didn't know, Michael has had a very awful experience with vasectomies.
Yes.
I would never want to have the experience that Michael had with his time. So I would not wish that
regret it. I regretted it when it happened.
Yeah.
I was like, why did I do this? Oh my god. And it sucked for about a month because my balls were the size of my head. So.
Like literally the size of your head?
Yeah, pretty close.
Oh god, that's awful. Why would you do that to yourself? I don't know. Like I thought about doing it there for a while, but I haven't done it. I haven't done it yet.
Good job.
But so welcome back. We've been kind of doing a hiatus for a little bit. It's just been a shit cycle of news. It's the same stuff. The guy got shot. He's probably black, probably by a cop. There's a riot in Portland. There's always a riot in Portland. Except for I forgot there's the thing with Portland. They rounded up a bunch of people recently. Like Black Lives Matter actually told them to fuck off, told the police, and then they rounded them all up, so they got redded out. And it's a whole big story. But I think it's too kind of negligible to actually report on. I think the bigger news is the Gretchen Whitmer, like the Michigan governor almost getting kidnapped, yes. Or the FBI arresting those dudes. So like that whole story is interesting. Then the 25th Amendment with Nancy Pelosi coming out with that, like right.
And let me say something on that real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't know if that's part of the
Oh yeah, no. It is. It's gonna be later on. We're gonna do a little bit more. But if you got something to say, go ahead, man.
I got something to say about that shit. Yeah. So we'll continue to go.
So it's one. Yeah, you can say it if you want. I don't care.
No, hey, let's go.
Let's do it.
Let go.
Everything. Yeah, I'm here. Everything's just messing with my flow today. My flow is getting all messed up.
That's all right. It happens. Let's, do what it do, baby.
It is what it is. I think it's because I don't sleep well at night, and I came up with the perfect solution for any sort of sleep problem. It is the 3-step Hooch solution.
Okay.
Which is step 1, you take 40 milligrams of melatonin. You slam a shot of NyQuil, and then you try to finish off on Pornhub before the NyQuil kicks in.
You got to rub one out. Once you bust that Dewey, you're.
It's true. Like if
me, once I bust one.
I'm just saying, if that doesn't get you to sleep, I don't know what could. Like at that point, other than downing a whole bottle to yourself. And then this is about it.
This to the face will put you to sleep real quick.
Right? Straight up. Straight up bats. God. Like I said, it's been a shit show. But there's one story that actually kind of gave me hope for life, which is the Oklahoma jail employees are charged after playing Baby Shark on repeat to punish inmates. It's a really short story. Which is funny because the 2 former Oklahoma jail employees and their supervisor face misdemeanor charges after investigations found that they played the children's song Baby Shark on repeat to punish inmates. Authorities say that at least 4 inmates were forced to stand for hours. I thought that was funny. With their hands cuffed behind their back while the song played on repeat. The Oklahoma County District Attorney said that he would file felony if it had been an option.
All right, so
I think that's funny. That's funny.
Let me speak on that. So,
okay,
you know, as law enforcement and corrections, and we all take an oath. So there are certain things that you should or should not do, and one of those things is torture. So
cruel and unusual punishments.
Considered a form. I'm not saying it is. It can be considered a form of torture. It's cruel and whatever.
It's literally in the interrogator's handbook somewhere that playing songs on repeat. Like there was one where they used to play Barney for that hours. There's also this is the song that never ends. It goes on, my friends. Do you know that one? Everybody knows that one, right?
I mean,
the Lamb
play Metallica for the tallies in Afghanistan and Iraq. They used to torture them with that music, heavy metal music. So though I thought it made me chuckle a little bit because I always
it's absolutely hilarious,
you motherfuckers. I'd be the most hated sheriff in the world. Don't go to that jail because I'd be
you never want to go there.
And I'm not talking about putting my hands or torturing people, but I'd make their I'd make it an experience to where they wouldn't want to come back to jail. You know, and
what was that? What was that one guy that had the jail outside?
Should work. Incarceration should be an experience. And I'm not saying torturing. None of my people out there get mad. I'm not saying torturing or causing bodily harm or doing anything seriously mentally to someone to where it kind of messes them up to the mental break. What I'm saying is jail should not be an enjoyable experience at all.
I wouldn't think it would ever be an enjoyable experience, but hey, that's just me.
That's debatable. But
I know some people do go there for a hot meal and a cot, right? Like
that happens with a lot of
hot and a cat. That's what you get.
Homeless people. Yeah,
but
a lot of transients and homeless people go in there. They want to get arrested because they're looking, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them. But they go in there for 3 hots, a shower, and they get a good night's sleep. Get it. But it should not be enjoyable.
Yeah,
it should not.
I mean, just look at the sharks, the little fluffy sharks. That was like the funniest thing to me about that whole story is that they chose that thumbnail for the thing. Yeah, but no, I get what you're saying. I don't think that jail should be anywhere near enjoyable. What was that one guy that was running the tent cities out in like Arizona or something like that? You remember that from a few years ago? Like he was like a big like anti-Obama guy too. Yeah, sheriff
in Arizona. I mean that guy was gangster. That's some shit I would do. I'd be like, oh, you want TV? You want to watch cable? You're gonna have to ride this bike. Oh, you want to watch the football game? You gotta ride the bike.
Gotta ride the bike.
Just things. Whatever you get, you have to earn it because you owe something to society for the crimes you committed. You're not gonna come in here and demand everything. No. Oh, you want cable? Oh.
I mean, I think that goes to a bigger argument of what is cruel and unusual. Breaking rocks all day, I don't think is cruel. It's a little unusual, but I don't think it's cruel. And if it doesn't actually lead to any profitability from any company, like how the state makes them do the license plate thing, and they actually make revenue off those license plate from paying them pennies on the dollar to have them created, or other companies that do that. I think that's wrong. But if they're doing useless tasks in order to punish them, like breaking rocks for no fucking reason, I could get down with that. I'm fine with that. It's not supposed to be a fun time. So
I mean, like filling sandbags, moving them from point A to point B.
That sounds familiar. Why does that sound familiar? I don't know. There might have been some sort of NCO at some point that has made some junior Marines or soldiers do something similar to that as a punishment, or what was the word that they like to use? It was a corrective punishment or corrections.
Corrective training.
Corrective training. That's the word I was thinking. Corrective training. Speaking of corrective training, Michael, you as a former drill sergeant yourself, how do you feel about them basically saying no more shark attacks? No more the classic videos of them getting in your face and yelling at you and just whole dogpiling you on the first day of training. Those were the days. Remember stepping on those yellow feet and then being yelled at for hours, and I lost track of what day it was for 3 days straight after intake. That was great. Great times. Fucking loved it. No. Michael's got some issues with his indigestions. But yeah, so if you don't know, the Army is getting rid of the shark attacks. The U.S. Army has replaced the chaotic reception of recruits to enter basic training through and have a long reception of shouting drill sergeants with training events designed to create a bond with their new teammates and leaders. Day one of Army basic training has been a rite of passage that has involved menacing groups of drill sergeants descending in terrified recruits and yelling commands and orders in order for trainees to perform push-ups and other exercises. Now, I remember that, you know, as a Marine, we coming in first days being yelled at, and then there was the Black Friday event as well. Oh, God. The litany amount of things that have happened with that is insane. Michael can attest to that, I think, as well. Them changing this is not necessarily a good thing, because this is the rite of passage, man. Like, going to basic training and boot camp and any BCT thing is that you are being broken down in order to be more pliable. I get that. It's all about psychology. If you cannot toughen them up mentally, you will have worse soldiers and Marines later on down the road. And you don't need that. It's already a crapshoot when you get deployed. It's like, some guys you think would be the toughest nails are it's sometimes the weakest ones, and the weaker ones are the ones that outperform the guys you thought were going to be the courageous ones. It's weird. It's weird how people work like that. I think. I don't know. Like, from your point of view, what do you think of them changing this as a whole?
Well, you know, as you said, shark attack is a rite of passage. Mm-hmm. Generations and generations and generations of soldiers, Marines, airmen, seamen have gone through this.
Seamen.
And it's not like we're out there torturing them. You know what I mean? Yeah. As a drill sergeant, I was a drill sergeant for 3 years, as everyone knows. And it's not like we were out there just torturing these kids for hours. Mm-hmm. It didn't happen like that. The shark attack usually lasted about 2 hours, and it was usually to get them where you wanted them to go. It was that shock factor initially, letting them know that you're no longer where you thought you was. You're not in charge, and here's how it's going to be. It wasn't, we weren't putting our hands on them. Yeah, we screamed and we yelled. We didn't even really smoke them, because we have a timeline. Mm-hmm. We might have made them hold their sandbags on their chest or over their head for a little while, but you know, everything is structured. It's not like you can just sit there and torture them. Hold your duffel bag over your head for, 45 minutes. It didn't happen like that, because we had timelines to keep, and everything was on a timeline. This is going to happen from this to this, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do that. So, the whole shark attack thing, I think it's just these new commanding generals and these new officers, and a lot of these people don't have a lot of these people making the decisions have never went through basic training. Not all of them, majority of them, and have never experienced it. All they're doing is they're watching from the sideline, and they're like, oh, that's so mean. Oh, he made her cry. Oh, that private pissed herself. Oh, right. That private went into failure.
I think the biggest thing that comes to this, why we're starting to see this kind of like social justice shift in the military, is because all of the officers that go in are getting indoctrinated in U.S. universities, which are completely leftist to begin with. Like, if you really think about it, that's why it's going that way.
Well, a lot of these young officers making the decisions, I mean, I get it. A lot of these lieutenant colonels, I'm not going to say majors, because majors, a lot of them are freaking millennials. So and maybe some lieutenant colonels these days. But when you start getting up to the full birds and the generals, they're the breed that's on their way out, man. Those are the Gen X guys.
But they're still listening to their advisors, though, which are coming from the younger core. So.
Yes. And you're right. So their advisors are younger people who these Gen Xers that are up there in the ranks don't really understand what's going on down there. So they're listening to these millennials who are captains, majors, lieutenant colonel. Oh, sir, the generations are different. So, of course, they're going to change. And they're listening to these young captains who witness Shark Attack, and they give their advice on how it needs to go. And it goes all the way up to Big Army, who really doesn't have a fucking clue of what's going on, and policy gets passed. So what this is going to create is going to create a softer military, because they can get rid of Shark Attack all they want in basic training, but when they get to their first unit of assignment, guess what? There ain't no TRADOC telling you can't do this or do that. That platoon sergeant, that squad leader, that team leader is going to tear your fucking ass up.
Yep.
And they're not going to care. They're not going to care. And either you do what they tell you to do, or you kick rocks. So, I mean, I've had soldiers like that, man. As a platoon sergeant come in, they were infantrymen. They were a little soft, but, I mean, they were killers. Yeah. But they were a little soft when it came to, the emotional side of NCOing. And you'd have to break them at the first unit of assignment. So the breaking's going to happen somewhere. It may not happen in basic or OSUT, but it's going to happen at one point. Just saying.
I know there's a lot of combat. There's a lot of older generation that look at the kind of new age Army, new age Marine Corps and say, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like basic training back in Vietnam was probably a lot worse than it is now. Same thing with World War II. Like everybody's all hand holding and it's like, oh, stress card, throw it down.
I mean, you look at the greatest generation, which was probably World War II. They went through a lot more than our generations are going through right now. They breeded some of the hardest soldiers, Marines in the history of military.
Oh, yeah.
In the history.
Without a doubt.
They didn't have all the fancy tools, all the combat vests, and all the body armor, and all the sights we had. They had bolt-action rifles, maybe some submachine guns. They had no real body armor. A lot of them were wearing flak vests, and they charged the beaches of Normandy. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Normandy and Iwo Jima, man, like nothing.
These guys that are in charge of basic training in OSUT, like I said when I was there, some of these officers soft as hell. They were Joe huggers. That's what we call them. They're
Joe huggers. Okay,
they're Joe huggers. And they cared more about their feelings than the actual what we had to do to get them to soldier up or get rid of that civilian in them. So at the end of the cycle, you saw soldiers. Yeah, they graduated. Yes, they passed. Yes, they did what they had to do. But their mentality never changed.
Yeah, it wasn't where it needed to be in order to make it in, in the fleet. For us, it's the fleet, or Big Army, as you guys put it. I think this is a conversation that I've had with a few guys before about Mustangs like being a necessity for the military, like having guys that have been in the listed ranks first being promoted to officer ranks, because just because you go to school doesn't mean you have common sense, and just because you went to school, especially now with the way the liberal universities are, doesn't mean you have the proper education in order to lead troops into the field and also train them to be ready for wartime, especially with the drawdown now and peace coming around the corner, Trump trying to pull everybody out. It's going to get harder. Like, it's going to be tougher. Like, China and Russia do not care about your feelings. They don't care that we don't do shark attacks. They're still training their guys to be tough as nails. They always have. And if you think that they're not training them, that they're the way that they should be, then you're wrong. Especially the way the world is right now. North Korea just releasing another giant missile. Like, these guys are on top of things, and we're not on top of things because of stupid shit like this. That's okay.
Freaking dogs, man.
To bring you back up into speed of what I was just talking about was the fact that the conversation of Mustangs, people that needed to be enlisted first before they become officers, because officers nowadays coming straight from school do not have a inkling of idea of what they should be doing in order to lead, Marines and Joes into the field. And the biggest reason is because of how the universities are teaching them about their feelings. Everything's got to be social justice. There's systemic racism everywhere, and you have to look at it for everything. And you should be caring about what they feel versus what they need to be getting done. And it's like the job needs to be done regardless of how you fucking feel. And that's the way the military works, and it always has worked.
And you're right about that. At the end of the day, the military really doesn't give two shits about your feelings when it comes to combat. For those of us that have been to combat, understand that your feelings don't matter. What matters is the mission. At the end of the day, no matter how you
mission first, man.
No matter how you
his dogs.
No matter how you feel about it, your feelings don't matter.
Yeah.
So, what the Army's trying to create, they're trying to create an environment. They're trying to create an environment where soldiers' feelings matter more than a mission that needs to be accomplished.
Yeah.
And
I agree with you on that.
We don't want to make them sad. We don't want to do this. We don't want their parents to call us because the soldiers are going to call their parents and say the drill sergeant was mean. And then we don't need them thinking bad about the military service as if we're just mean people.
Right.
No, we have a mission. At the end of the day, the Army isn't some fucking, high school football team. Our only mission is to engage and destroy the enemy. That is it. That is our sole purpose. All the bells and whistles that they throw at us, the college and the free this and the housing and all this stuff doesn't freaking matter. Because at the end of the day, they're going to tell your ass to get on that plane and take your butt to whatever foreign country they want you to go to. And then when you get over there, the enemy's not going to care about your feelings. They're not going to care. They're going to, if they capture you, guess what they're going to do? They're going to do the same exact thing, close to what a drill sergeant would have done.
Yeah.
Make you feel like crap at times.
That's just to mentally prepare you for the roughness of military life, and that's the way it is. And before people get up in my bunch about like, well, then what about soldiers' well-being and Marines' well-being? It's like, yeah, but that's a separate issue. Like when we're talking about training, that's different. And yes, you should keep mind of how your soldiers and Marines are feeling on the inside, because you don't want them to be depressive and broke, because that's different. You need to take care of you guys, but at the same time, mission comes first, comfort comes second. That's always how it's been. I know some NCOs are really bad about handling the second part, and they need to get better at it. But at the same time, we can't have them weak to begin with when they get to the fleet, so they can't have a chance to do the second part. That's the problem. It's you got to have your guys tough to begin with, and then you can care about them, at the same time as the mission's rolling. But I don't know. That's just my opinion. I think honestly, I think the military in whole should create a pilot program to where, okay, you pass the ASVAB, you pass your physical. Now we're going to put you through 1 week of Hell Week. Hell Week.
Get through it or you don't.
Hey.
If you quit, your contract's null and void. You can go on about your business. We don't want you.
Well, there is something like that for the first couple of weeks of basic training where it's failure to adapt and they just like fucking you're out. But like I think it should be more. I mean, but it's already hard to get people qualified under recruitment standards as it is right now. I couldn't imagine if you had like a Hell Week where they like either you make it, you quit. Like that's it. I mean, I think the numbers would be really hard, and then recruiters would be having a really rough time. Never did recruiting, so I don't understand how that whole side works. I should finally find a recruiter to talk to me about that. It should be fun. That'd be a fun conversation. Like all the shit that goes down and shenanigans with recruiting. Anyway, okay, I will just leave it there for now. We'll stop for this. The first part of the segment, we'll come back to talk about the 25th Amendment and the Denver shooting, as well as a article from the New York Times that actually got me upset because it was quoting from our group and my unit, and then we'll talk about it in a second. We'll see you guys on the other side.
Be sure to check out the Facebook page at The Hooch Podcast to follow along with new releases every week, as well as check out our Teespring store where we have awesome apparel, as well as the Hooch Podcast on Anchor FM. You can check it out here, or you can go on Spotify and iTunes, as well as Google Play. Anyway, we'll be back in a second.
Yep.
All right. Recording 1, record 2. All right. Hey, welcome back to the other side, guys. Michael, as you know, has been a very big TikToker for, the last 6 months, I think, or longer. Was it a little longer than that? How long was it you were doing it for?
Since, initially, hardcore was April, May.
Yeah. So, he got banned. Hardcore, deleted all of his shit. It's all gone. You had what, yep. 75,000 followers on that too?
It was about 70K.
Yeah. That's rough, man.
I had some money in there too. I had $257 in my TikTok account. So I woke up one night and my girlfriend was coming over. So she comes in and I wake up and I'm like, hey, what's up? She goes, hey, did you see the last video I posted? I'm like, no. And I go pick up my phone and it goes, you have been permanently banned from TikTok. And I show her, I'm like, look, is this shit real? I thought it was a joke. I was like, what? So I reset my phone thinking there's a glitch. It says, no, you have been permanently banned from TikTok for violating multiple community standards. And I was just like, what?
Yeah.
There's no way. All I posted was foodie stuff, drill sergeant stuff, patriotic stuff, duets.
And some pro-Trump stuff. Some pro-Trump stuff. I think that's what got you.
Anything that was considered hateful. You know what I mean?
Well, you can't be racist because you're black. That's the rules of the left.
Yeah, it was crazy to me. So, I lost everything. And then we started,
Red Dogs.
where she already had her account, so she added me to it. So we're doing this joint account thing. So
Rat dogs will always do that to you, man. They love to bark. Them barking dogs. But yeah, so that sucks for Michael, I think. Because that's just the way that the world's going. Is anything left and right now is pretty much fucking arbitrary. You can be a lefty guy and still get banned because you're too extreme. You're right wing now. It's the left has moved so far left that everybody is now right wing. That's what it is.
I'm not the first conservative to get banned on TikTok. There's multiple conservatives that didn't say anything hateful, and everyone was like, are you...
Yeah.
What it takes is people going in and just flagging your account as hate speech. So they get all their cronies, hey, flag this account, flag this account, flag this account. And they get enough of those, the robots will sense it, and they'll be like, you're banned.
Yeah.
That quick. So you have to put in an appeal. I put my appeal in last week. Multiple people have put in appeals. There's hashtag, bring the bro kitchen guy back. And it's got 8,000 something views right now in that hashtag. So like I said, I didn't get it. I wrote TikTok on Instagram too. I was like, I don't understand what I did. I said I've never broke any community guidelines. So we'll see where it goes. But at this point, it's been 3 weeks almost. I'm over it. I'm just kind of whatever. My ego and everything won't allow me to jump back on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna build my girl and I's account. I'm just gonna help build it up, and we're gonna go from there, man. People love the content, and the whole couples thing is trending a lot on TikTok, and people love it. So
they just don't want some thoughts trying to sell their bathwater or anything. Fucking gamer girl bathwater. Fuck.
TikTok, there's always thirsty ass people, man. Her and I can be on there together, and there's always gonna be. We do live feeds, and there's always gonna be somebody that Do you see we're together? Do they see?
I mean, you see this is a couple account, right?
Yeah, and they don't care, but we get it. You know, people delete those accounts, so we have moderators that go through and delete those people from a live feed. But it is what it is. TikTok, until the new guy Oracle takes over, and I think November, November. Is going to be like this. I think they're just trying to dump all this pro-Trump stuff, and they're trying to dump it because when a new guy takes over from Oracle, who's a Trump supporter, a lot of shit's going to change, man. A lot.
It should be interesting to see what happens. Like, kind of like how crazy everything's been with Congress with fucking crazy Nancy. My God, I don't understand her insanity.
25th Amendment.
So if those of you who haven't been paying attention to the news, the Nancy Pelosi wanted to talk about the 25th Amendment, which apparently isn't about the election at all. It's about the lame duck Congress that's going to be happening. So in her idea, this is not about President Trump. He will face judgment of the voters, but it shows the need for us to create a process for future presidents. That's really funny. The future presidents. So, like, who should we be thinking about would need the possibility of the 25th Amendment, which, by the way, if you didn't know, requires the vice president to sign off on to get them removed from office because of their inability to do their job because of some sort of medical condition or otherwise we're mentally disabled. Who does that sound like?
Well,
anybody? Anybody?
Before we go there, Kamala Harris, I don't think is a natural born citizen. Is she?
Yes, she is, according to them. But I mean, it's up in the fucking air.
Were her parents U.S. citizens? I don't know.
That's the question. Nobody knows. Apparently, if you get an Indian and Jamaican together, you make an African American.
So yeah.
Like I guess that's how that works.
You talked about it's not about Donald Trump. It's about future presidents.
Yeah.
But for the last 3.5 years or 3+ years, it's always been about Donald Trump, removing him from office, impeachment, and everything else. Mm-hmm. So this whole 25th Amendment is about Donald Trump because they understand that he's going to get reelected.
Yeah, but they would still have to get the vice president to sign off on it.
They're hoping for Biden to get elected, and then they deem him
mentally incapable, unfit
mentally unfit.
And then with Harris, with fucking Harris's background of being shady as fuck, she would definitely go behind Biden's back to sign that fucking paper to get him kicked out. She would totally do that. I could see that happening. 100%.
She's the crooked of the crookedest. She's a brown fucking Hillary Clinton, man.
Yeah,
straight up. They smile, their little cackle.
God, that was insane. That was absolutely insane.
They're the same person. They probably have the same DNA somewhere down the line. Guarantee it.
So to continue on with her quote, throughout our history, our leaders have created and strengthened guardrails in the Constitution to ensure the continuity and stability of the government in times of crisis. The 25th Amendment creates a path. If a president suffers from physical or mental problem and is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, specifically Section 4 of the amendment empowers Congress to set up a independent body that confronts such a crisis. So the same Congress that has been over and over again, mind you, lying to the American public about the Russiagate situation, working with Hillary Clinton, working with the Russians to get dirt on Donald Trump, the impeachment over the thing that had nothing to do with Russia but was over Ukraine, and him trying to look into corruption, actual corruption from Hunter Biden, because of his daddy was taking him on Air Force 2 to China to get deals done, to Ukraine to get deals done. I mean, if that's not fucking corrupt, shady shit, I don't know what is. If any of Donald Trump's children did exactly that, there would be news outlets running constantly 24/7 about how shady as fuck that is. So, excuse me.
These documents were declassified and redacted. There's going to be a lot of heads spinning. So Democrats are freaking the left, or whoever's involved, left, right, whatever persons are involved, are scrambling right now. This is why she brought up the 25th Amendment. Donald Trump goes to freaking the hospital. Walter Reed, COVID positive, so they say. for like 3 days. He walks out the hospital like nothing.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, Donald Trump took off his mask at the White House in front of the Rose Garden, where there was no one around, but yet Donald or Joe Biden or Mike Pence and Kamala Harris can wear or have a debate with plexiglass in front of them and not wear a mask.
The rules are so weird now with COVID. Like mask work, so plexiglass is fine. Like fucking whatever.
So we're told that we have to wear a mask out in public, or if we're walking from somebody to and there, to or from wherever we're at, we have to wear a mask when we're in a certain vicinity of anyone.
Yeah.
You know, because droplets and it's in the air and all this other stuff. But they were in a freaking debate stage. They weren't in a bubble. They just had a plexiglass to where they would look over each other and talk. And so their whatever droplets, whatever they say, wouldn't hit each. But I can't walk around and not speak to anyone without a mask.
And
I can
riots.
walk past somebody on the street, not say anything to them, but I better wear a mask.
Right, riots and protesting are absolutely okay, fine in COVID, because gathering a large group of people in a confined space and doing all like sweating and profusely sweating and yelling and all of those other things are completely fine when we're dealing with a pandemic, because the rules don't fucking matter in 2020. They really don't.
It doesn't matter.
So
and they're fucking hypocrites, man.
They really are.
I really don't take this COVID shit serious, and people at work can tell you I really don't, because I look at the facts and I look at how hypocritical they really are, and I look at what they said in the beginning to what they're saying now, and they're talking about the spikes and all this shit. So you got to ask yourself, if masks are a requirement in every public place, just about in the U.S., right?
Yeah.
Why are we seeing a spike in COVID?
I don't know. It could be the mass amount of people gathering for rioting and looting and all the other things that we're dealing with. I'm sorry. It's protesters. Protesters.
That has nothing to do with a spike. You know what I mean? They're saying a spike. That means across
spiking cases. I don't know. Why would there be a spike in cases if there's known of 100+ days of people gathering in large groups, fucking protesting, as they call it, protesting. I don't know why there would be spikes and shit. But the other thing that I was going to bring up with this is is what they're going to do with it is the Congress has a constitutional duty to lay out a process which the president is incapacity. This honors the duty that by creating and standing commission of medical officials and experts selected in a bipartisan, bicameral way, the president's fitness for the office must be determined by facts with this bill. Yada. Anyway, you get the point. So they're going to just automatically find some doctors that are, non-biased, because that's what they did with Russiagate. They found investigators who were non-biased to do that. So they're going to find non-biased doctors, which this days there's nobody that is non-biased in any way at this point, to judge whether the president is capable of performing his duties. I don't know. Maybe if we just put, age limits on serving in office, like I know we have age limits for people to be able to get into office. Why don't we have it for when you can't fucking run it anymore? Like we have them for the military. Why don't we have it for the office?
Well, it should be retirement age, national retirement.
65. It should be 60 fucking 5.
So they're saying if you're over the age of 65, you can't run. If they're going to pull all that stuff,
yeah,
because it's certain, not everyone, but certain ages.
Just like, why would we need
their brain starts deteriorating? So say, hey, after the age, based off statistics and medical research, at this age is when your brain, majority of Americans, their brain starts deteriorating.
We know that to be the case. and that's it. And that makes sense. Why would we need?
Here's what's going to happen. I'm telling you what's going to happen. Donald Trump's going to get reelected. We all know it.
Yeah.
They're desperate. He's going to get reelected. They know it. We know it. This whole shenanigans, this sideshow that they're putting on, they know that
sideshow
Kamala Harris, no one likes her. That she was the worst choice ever for VP. No one likes Joe Biden. You can look at his so-called rallies where there's like 10 people there, and but he takes his mask off to cough in his hand.
Yeah.
And no one's there. You know what I mean? So they know Trump is.
There was like 8 people that showed up in one rally. I think it was in Arizona for Biden.
Yeah, so they know Trump's most likely going to get reelected. So what she's going to do, Nancy Pelosi is hoping that she's going to keep the seat in the House, but she's not. You know, she's hoping that she will keep it, and then she'll be able to push the 25th Amendment based off what?
Well, no, she's the senator, so like Nancy and all the squad, that they would be the ones responsible for that. But her losing her seat, I don't know. It's not likely to happen. But I will bring this up because we were talking about it in terms of medical conditions. Is that I think there should be an age limit, and 65 should be it, because like if the retirement age is 65, right? I mean, if you're 65 still working, you're desperate for money. That's the only reason why you're still fucking working. So at the same time, is like you have people. Like, I understand with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, because it's a lifetime appointment, you can stay in there for as long as you're still alive, which I think is still wrong. I think lifetime appointment doesn't mean you have to stay in until you fucking die. Like that's ridiculous. Why would you stay in a job until you die? But for Congress and the presidency and everything else, I think the cutoff should be 65, because like at the point that you've been in Congress for 30 years, like you've been running since you were 30, right? And you're still in at 65, you're done. You don't need to be there anymore. You've already done the job. You know, at the same time, so if you're running for president at 65, you're too old. You're just too old.
No, and so answer this question. My mom was pretty fit mentally at 64 years old. But answer this question. Why is it that Congress can deem a president unfit to serve for his physical, mental health?
Yeah.
But the president can't deem a freaking
congressional member or justice,
based off their physical and mental health. So the president should be able to step in and be like, look, you haven't been around for so many months based off your physical and mental health. Yeah. So we're going to have to replace you. I appointed you as president. I appointed you because the president does appoint him, and I can get rid of you too.
Well,
you know what I mean?
The way the Constitution's set up, they can't, because like it's a lifetime appointment, but they can convince them to leave. Yes, but I think it would have to be
wanted to leave though.
Yeah, I heard she did. She should have left under Obama when she wanted to retire in the first place, but they didn't. They wanted to wait. I don't know why they wanted to wait, but they wanted to wait.
Hold on, Ruth. Hold on. I'm gonna give you a little bit of this D from a chef, and we're gonna break it down. We need you to stay. You know, whatever.
So
fucking crazy.
Everything's crazy now, to the point that we actually have what was it? 13 people in total that have been arrested for the plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Whitmer, the crazy lady who just recently was told by the Supreme Court, your lockdowns are unconstitutional, and she said, "Fuck you, I'm going to do it for another 20 days anyway." And then I'm going to figure out what I can do to keep it going. And it's like, if that's not tyrannical, I don't know what is. Like, everybody keeps saying that Donald Trump is a tyrannical guy, but if he would have pulled this same shit as Whitmer did, where the court said, you can't do that, and he goes, I can fucking do it if I want to, and keeps doing it, that doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it's funny that her husband tried to take his boat out on Lake Michigan when no one else could, but he thought he was entitled.
I can do it because I am the bourgeoisie. I can do what I want.
My wife is a governor.
Wife is governor.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, she needs... I mean, she's not going to last the next election. She's going to get out of there.
No, she's done.
Guarantee it.
Honestly, she's done. As soon as in the election, she's done.
Her out. She's gone. Man.
But the point is yeah, and the point is with this story is the fact that they were saying that it was right-wing militias, which the guys that were involved were anti-police, anti-government leftists who were also saying how Donald Trump was a tyrant, and that they need, like, one of the sheriffs was actually defending them, saying that they were just trying to perform a citizen's arrest on her. Like, it's a citizen's arrest. That's what they're doing. They're going to arrest her based off of it.
Right-wing militia would have did that. They would have been like the terrorist group tried to kidnap the governor.
It's the same thing when happened with Chaz, though. They allowed them to take over 6 city blocks for 3 weeks. Like, if any sort of right-wing militia group did that, they would have called that insurrection, and then they would have fucking sent in the military to root them out. You know, even to the point that 3 or 4 people died in Chaz. In shootings and in those couple of weeks, including like a 14-year-old black boy, which I thought was ridiculous and nobody cared about. Like, Black lives don't matter as long as it's not, you know, it's some white guy, some white cop shoots him. It's fine. That's what we're aiming for.
Ran her over. A little girl.
So it's ridiculous because left and right doesn't actually mean fucking dick anymore. It really doesn't. You can be the left has moved so far left that everybody else is right wing now. Like,
but you know the thing about the right, majority of us haven't moved that far right.
No,
still
none of
pretty
us.
Like, you know, center right. You know, look at this asshole.
I know, yeah, and that's the next thing is the Denver shooting that happened. There's one person dead and followed the. I like how NPR put this is far right and far left rallies in Denver. So at least they're admitting there are far left rallies now. So like that's an improvement. Or at least admitting that there are far left people. So, but the guy involved in this. And the story here on the ground was apparently a security guy that was hired by one of the news crews there. He has a pretty deep connection to leftist ideology and going to different protests and things like that. So they didn't properly vet this guy to begin with. And the whole thing, the reason he shot the guy was because he got bear maced in the face. Like, or something like that. They were arguing. I don't know if lethal force was really
justified.
Yeah. Like the way it looks, I don't think it was justified. Well, I mean, that's the question of like, is bear mace justified to get shot in the face?
Bear mace is pretty bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But this guy must not have been that mace for him to be able to shoot that guy.
Oh no, he was actually really close. Let me see if I can pull up the actual
bear mace photo.
Yeah, the bear mace photo, because like you can see it in the video and in the photo. There it is. That's the one I needed. Bring it up.
Right there.
Hold on. So like I got to bring it. Oh yeah, so apparently, like, yeah, that's the photo that I needed. So at first it starts with like some dude getting slapped, but then he walks away, and then there was the bear mace thing. So yeah, here's the photo. This is how far they were from here, and you can already see that he already fired.
So here's the question you have to ask: did the guy go back and get a gun after he walked away?
No, he was already carrying because he was supposedly working security at the time.
So why didn't he pull it out the first slap?
I don't know. He might have. The other photo looked like he might have been. Yeah. So there's the draw right there, I think.
Oh yeah, he's drawing out his the front. Yes.
Yeah, you can see it right there. That's where I think the draw comes after he gets slapped. So, but it just goes to show, like, this is what's happening in the U.S. today. Is like there keeps being people being shot at these rallies. Like it's not even a point to go anymore because it's not even protesting. It's just like belligerents on either side of the tribal lines that are fighting each other. Like this is just further escalation of everything that's already been happening.
So here's the thing: we're acting like this is something new.
It's not
history. You know that old term, history repeats itself?
Yeah.
You know, so this is nothing new, man. This has been brewing for years. So remember we talked about a couple episodes ago that shot heard around the world?
Yeah.
It's going to happen. You know, it's going to be that shot, and I think it started with Kyle
Rittenhouse.
So,
I think that situation is what has escalated things to the point where weapons are being used more often now in these protests.
So, more and more people are going to be bringing weapons to these freaking protests, and I think, you know, when I think you're going to see something like crazy, like when Donald Trump gets reelected. So he's going to get reelected, and there's going to be all the people out there celebrating, and you're going to have some crazy freaking leftists or anarchists or whatever they are, and they're going to go out there and start doing crazy stuff.
They're already doing stuff. Like they've been for over 100 days now. They've been burning people's livelihoods down, their homes. They've been insulting people. They've been doing everything just short of open rebellion. Like if you look at it like that, it's like the right isn't causing all of this damage. It's the left that's going out there doing all this stuff. Like they might not be killing people every day in the streets, but they're ruining lives. That's what they're doing, and nobody's stopping them.
What city was that where they were going through suburbs and recently breaking windows out of house?
Chicago or Portland, one of the fucking places. I don't know. It could be anywhere at this point. Just pick a Democrat city. It's probably that one there. But before we go, there's another story that I wanted to bring up. This is something kind of close to me. This is a New York Times article that was written, and it was for veterans, bonds forged in battle are tested in 2020's rancor. The toxic rhetoric and political polarization are doing what nothing else could: drive apart former Marines who had one another's backs through wars and stress of civilian life. First of all, this article I think is complete BS because of the fact that it's a completely biased slant towards the left, and it involves my unit. Like we have a Facebook group that we keep in contact with each other, and yeah, there's some political posts that happen here or there, but everybody has their own opinions. And I think if you're unfriending people based off of their political opinions, it might get heated. Unless they're being an absolute asshole or absolutely racist towards you, fine, I get that. Do what you got to do, but at the same time, it's like it should be something that easy to break the bonds that we've had together with each other. Like it can't be that easy. Michael, I know for you, you're just coming back for a second. This article here was written by a New York Times writer, and it involves my unit, and saying that basically the 2020 election is breaking the bonds of people who serve together. And I think it's bullshit. It really is, because if that's something that is easily to break because of political ideology, I don't know how many fights we've gotten into with each other in arguments overseas over the dumbest little things. Then that couldn't, including political conversations, that isn't something that's easily broken because of that. And this dude took one of the guys that I know out of context in order to make it slant towards what he wanted. And that's just the danger of dealing with these leftist journalists, is that they will use whatever means possible in order to make their narrative, their window, fit to their point of view. And it's not necessarily true.
Well, the thing is that the military is probably one of the strongest structures that they could attack.
Yeah.
So if we can try to drive a wedge in the military, we can win, because the left is terrified of vets and former police officers, or police officers, current. So if we can win the vets over and we can drive a wedge between them, then we have allies on our side. So this is why they put out bullshit articles like this. Yeah. They really think that, I have a lot of vet friends that are left leaning, but at the end of the day, man, if we came toe to toe, there's no way I can, put a bullet or do whatever I had to do to a friend of mine or a family member of mine. So
yeah, it's not going to happen.
This is all propaganda, man. It's all like Operation Mockingbird stuff. So
absolutely.
Propaganda. Yeah.
So like,
totally.
Like for those of you who don't know, like I'm part of 2nd Battalion 7th Marines, and our unit has the highest suicide rate in any battalion, any unit in the entire military. Like we've lost more guys to suicide than we have war, and we've been in articles and a few other things that have happened, which is fine. Like I report on stuff like that, that's great, but don't use our goodwill to sell a piece of political fucking garbage. That's all I want to say to that guy, is don't do that to us. When we put our trust in you to report something that is something important to us, like suicide, don't turn it around and use that goodwill in order to write a biased fucking piece for your fucking career. So anyway, that's my little rant for the end of the show. I just don't fucking do it, man. Don't trust journalists unless you know them personally, that they are good people. That's it. That's all I want to say. Mike, go ahead and take us out.
All right, so since my my Tickety Talk got banned at my personal one, make sure you join my girlfriend and I's joint page, the Bro Kitch Wine Machine, and we're still putting out dope stuff, and it's underscores between every word. So the underscore bro underscore wine underscore, the bro underscore Kitch underscore wine underscore machine. So make sure you guys check us out. We're still putting out content. We're pro-Trump, we're pro-American, and America and stuff. And just make sure you guys check out our Teespring. Check out the Hooches Teespring. Make sure you're following the Hooches page. We've kind of become a meme page, I think.
Yeah, mostly meme page. So, like that stuff.
So we kind of became a meme page, but we still put out our content. And if there's anything that you guys want us to talk about, America, you have to let us know. We have a lot of people out there following this page, over 3,000. So if there's a topic that you want, it doesn't always have to be political. It can be military humor, whatever. Talk about this, talk about that. We'll post some throwback podcasts for you guys, kind of check them out and see what you see or listen to it. But
this is
that's
a good
all I
back
have.
scratcher. I think this would be really good.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, definitely do that. I'll try to keep it lighter in the beginning of the shows, just because I'm tired of I love politics. Don't get me wrong, we love talking about politics, but 2020 is just too much, man. I'm just beaten down. Anyway, also if you like this,
just understand real quick. November 1st, you gotta set your clocks back, fall back, right? And I don't want another hour of 2020, America.
No kidding, man. Well, one less hour, that's what we need.
Yeah, don't set your clocks back. Fuck that. We don't need another hour of 2020. We just want this shit to end.
Right.
Trump 2020 though. Red Kingdom.
And that's why we have the COVID-19 hammer. And if you need something like this, go to blackartcustoms.com and they can help you set up something for commish. To get your dreams out of this world. You can get a halberd made. You can get a hammer made. You can get a sword made. The dude does awesome work. Personal friend of mine, 2-7 veteran. Support his work. He doesn't pay me to say that. I just like the hammers that he did for us. Anyway.
So he did.
So yeah, check out our Facebook, YouTube. Listen to the podcast on Spotify and iTunes and Google Play. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time. Should be next week. If not, then I'm sorry, and we'll do more. We'll do more, I promise. Anyway, we love you guys. We'll see you next time, America. And we're out. Can't do it.
According to your Facebook page, we aren't friends.